Hello everybody, my name is KingStix, and in this Vi jungle guide I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know to play her proficiently and carry your games. Now first off, you're going to want to run down mid and die. Now I'm just kidding guys, this was a mistake. I was tabbing in and out of YouTube. I wasn't expecting an invade. Considering they have a Pyke and Rengar though, I really should have expected it. At this point I realized they're probably still going to be sitting on my red, so I don't want to go back there, so instead I'm going to start on blue. Starting on blue isn't the end of the world on Vi, but ideally you want to start on red because it gives you a lot more gank pressure in the early game, since Vi does have some pretty good level 3 ganks. For your starting items, go for Machete and Refillable Potion, and for your runes, go for Hell of Blades, and for secondary page, go Precision. This will help you out a lot more in ganks and scaling through the mid and late game. Going for Electrocute is a bit of a noob trap on Vi. You are a power ganker and bruiser, not an assassin. Going for Electrocute is going to take away a lot from your damage and even make you a lot less tanky, since Vi's passive synergizes with her W's auto attacks to give her her shield more often. In this case, since I couldn't start on my red, I want to invade Rengar on his red after I finished my blue buff. The enemy bot lane, the way they passed through my tri-brush, I know Rengar started on my red. So I'm going to run through the Baron Pit and go over the wall with my Q. Normally, if you're going to power clear on Vi, you're going to take E level 2, but once again, since I'm going to be invading his red, I really do need my Q. And taking Q level 2 won't really hurt your power clears that much either. While taking the red, I want to pull it into the bush to minimize the threats from the enemies. They won't see how low on health it is, and if Rengar shows up, he won't know, and I can still probably take it. After red, I want to get golems for an easy level 3, and as you can see, Garen is also pushing up top lane, so once I am level 3, I'll be able to gank him with ease. I don't recommend ganking level 2 on Vi at all. It's really cheesy, but giving away your position that early in the game will allow the enemy jungler to take your camps, to invade you, or to even possibly kill you on the way to your camp. So I don't recommend ganking on Vi before level 3. Once you're level 3 though, your chance of getting a kill and a gank as long as you come behind the enemies is really high. You don't need to finish clearing the golem camp to get level 3. Once you hit level 3, there should be one medium golem and one small golem left, and then you can go in for your gank. I'm going to come all the way up behind Garen and hold on to my Q. The moment I'm coming flying at him, if he flashes it, the gank is over, so I just want to walk up to him, auto attack, and then once he flashes me, then I Q him. That way I still land the CC and the damage, and now I can flash to stay on top of him after he starts to build some distance away from me. I auto attack, auto him again, and then when he speeds up, I auto him. I keep moving and autoing, auto E to finish him off. Remember, your E isn't an auto attack resetter, and it also has more range than your autos, so don't immediately use your E. Typically you want to auto then E, and then for your second E you do it pretty much right as they're getting away, auto E. Blue smite isn't necessary on Vi, and if you're playing against a high damage enemy team, especially if their jungler is high damage, I really like taking red smite so I can solo them. My golem's already gone. Rengar's been lingering in my jungle. He knows I took his red and golems most likely. I use my sweeper. I'm coming up behind the enemies. Ashe flashes away. Watch how I run a tighter, longer route, which allows me to close the distance comfortably and secure the kill. By taking a sharp, longer angle, it allows me to run her down, Q right into her, which forced her to juke backwards, which will allow me to kill her anyways. If they did not have a turret, I would have kept running the route until its final destination. That way I could have guaranteed landed my Q, but since there is a turret, I didn't want to keep running her down over the next couple of seconds because I didn't want to take several turret shots and possibly die. So instead I forced her to juke backwards and still secure the kill. After taking Scuttle Crab after the bot gank, I saw my golems respawn back in, so now I can do my golems into my raptors and have a very nice full clear. Level 6 is a really good power spike for Vi, so if there aren't any easy ganks on the map, it's okay to farm it out a bit. While taking Wolf, something peculiar happens. Rengar comes into my jungle. I see he has team map, but he doesn't have red smite, so I know I can solo him. But I want to wait for my top laner to collapse a little bit, so I wait on the outside of the wall with my red lens on. I auto attack Q him, setting him up for my top laner. Notice how I didn't immediately Q. I waited till after I auto attacked and waited until Rengar started to fight me back. If he didn't start to fight me, I would have tried to hold on to it. That way he couldn't juke it. If he starts an attack animation, it forces him to stand still for a moment, which makes it much easier for me to land my Q. Sylas is really low on health, but Vladimir is a very low damage champion, so I'm going to follow up from behind and help him out with my CC and burst. Sylas has nowhere to go. I'm going to Q into him, and the Q was enough to kill him. If that didn't kill him, I would have autoed eat him to finish him off. Rengar spawning in, coming out from base, so I want to hurry up and take his raptors here to give myself a nice XP lead and also give myself an easy level 6. I don't recommend rushing Cinderhulk on Vi. I think Warrior's a lot better for carrying and having much higher impact in the early and mid game. Yes, it will fall off somewhat in the late game, but if you want to carry your games consistently, you need to be trying to build leads in the early and mid game. As I was going to my red buff, I was keeping in mind that Rengar might beat here, so I used my sweeper lens to make sure it's not warded, since he did take my red originally. After red buff, I'm looking for an easy gank, and the enemy bot lane is shoving up, and I have ultimate. I'm going to go ahead and Q in. Nearly a max range Q to get in range of the Ashe. I ult her, step off to the side to dodge the pike hook, auto E her, really easy, simple kill, giving my bot lane a lot of free pressure. They're so far ahead at this point, I wouldn't have to come back to regank, and at the very least my bot lane won't be dying solo. I just saw Rengar top, so now is a great opportunity to take Dragon. I don't need to go and do my golems, I don't need to go and do my raptors. Dragon is completely and utterly free. I just killed the enemy bot lane and Rengar's top. Take the dragon, and then I can take Scuttle after. Since I'm ahead, I want to come into Rengar's jungle and kill him. I see he's blue isn't up, he's taking his wolves, and then enemy bot lane's missing, so I want to get out of here. It's not worth going for the grump. I'm going to get 3-man pinched. At this point, I see Rengar has ulted. I'm ready to fight him. I already know he doesn't have full jungle item because of the sweeper lens, so I knew it was an easy fight even though my ult was down. As he lands on me, I immediately auto attack him, and as he gets closer to the bush and away from me, I knock into him with my Q. That way he can't jump out of the bush on me, getting extra passive stacks. I then immediately auto attack E him for the extra damage, stay in the bush, that way I don't break vision, that way I can keep autoing him. I then auto attack him again, E him using the auto attack reset, and then finish him off with an auto. It was foolish of him to try to fight me without red smite and without a completed jungle item while I had a full jungle item. Very foolish of him indeed. Vi can't Q flash in the same way Gragas can E flash. You have to flash and then use your Q. If you try to flash after you're already going through the air with your Q, you will cancel it and mess it up. So if you don't have the distance, charge up your Q, flash, and then use it to close the distance and to surprise the enemy. After helping Vlad push mid for the minion experience, I go to Rengar's blue even though I am low on health because I wanted to kill him on it. He shows up mid, so I see him, so I'm going to drag the blue over here, and I know I can fight him. He still doesn't have his jungle item or red smite. I'm going to wait for him to approach the bush so I can beat him up. I auto attack E, I Q and then miss. I was really surprised. Auto attack, and I still do have my ultimate, and I didn't even need it, guys. That's the power of your jungle power spike, and that's why you need to pay attention to the map and press tab so you can see the enemy's item. It's also why it's important to build leads early, because if you build leads early as a jungler, you allow yourself a lot more opportunities like this to play aggressive and snowball games. I'm sticking around for a moment because Lucian has flash and I want him to get in turret range so I can help him by CCing the opponents. I Q the Sylas and pay attention to my ultimate. Vi's ultimate actually moves the enemies a little bit, and it moved Sylas slightly away from our turret just by a few inches, and it actually pulled him out of our turret range. So as you can see here, the turret is now aggroing Pike, which really screwed me over since Sylas got to heal off of me and got to damage me. So that was a really awkward situation, but in hindsight, I should have just let it be since I gave away quite a bit of shutdown gold, and it just wasn't worth giving away my pressure on the map for a play like this. In terms of pressure, now Garen can play aggressively, now the enemy bot lane can play aggressively, and now Rengar can go into my blue side jungle and wipe it out knowing I'm dead. Leaving from base, that's actually what I was going to check to make sure he wasn't on my wolves or blue buff. I just Q over the wall, and I did go for tabbies this game. The enemy has a Garen and a Rengar, and for me to fight them, to dive turrets, and also deal with Ashe and Pike, I really need the tabbies. They only have 1 AP, so tabbies are the way to go. On Vi, the only 2 boots you're ever really going to go for are tabbies or Merc Treads. I wanted to go into Rengar's jungle and kill him at this point, but instead he's ganking my top laner, so I do want to chase him down. My ultimate's not quite up yet, but I can close the distance with my Q and run him down with the Windrake that I got from me and my team. Vladimir does a great job of cutting him off, making the chase down a lot easier. Somehow Rengar dashes back to our pink ward, which makes 0 sense since he had 0 vision of it, so he did juke out my Q there. We end up killing him anyways thanks to Vladimir. After killing Rengar, it's a no-brainer. I need to take Herald. While taking it, I'm keeping a close eye on Garen, and notice he's actually coming towards me. Thank goodness I got myself ahead early, so I'm not too scared of him. I smite the Herald. I auto Q him to do damage and get him off of me. My E's still on cooldown. As he's getting away, my top laner's behind me. I ult him and then Q him towards my top laner. Vi's ult's really nice for securing the enemies for your teammates. Since it holds them still and puts you behind the enemies, it lets you easily Q them back towards your teammates. Now that Garen's dead, I want to take their top lane turret. Even if Rengar shows up, we can easily 2v1 him. So this is the safest, easiest, bet for us to play. We don't need to do anything risky. Let's take what's free and get ourselves ahead. Getting yourself into this mindset as a jungler makes your options a lot easier, and you can feel a lot good about your choices, not having to constantly do risky things and not constantly be chasing kills either. Now that Garen is going to be showing up to lane, now I'm going to be using my Herald. We're going to be using it for its CC, and it's also going to force him to defend the turret. I Q onto him, auto attack E, and chunk a massive chunk of his health. Now me and 𝐒𝐂𝐂 can easily 2v1 him. I wait for her to hit him first so she can tank aggro, and then we break down the turret, auto attack him, and then finish him off with an E since it has more range than my auto. Once again, auto attack E. Very simple. At this point, I want to leave. I don't have my ult and I'm missing a big chunk of health. I don't want to fight 2 people under turret. Nico's in a bad spot, so I don't want to completely abandon her. She ults, doesn't even use her flash, so now I'm in a really weird spot. I have to go in for the Ashe, otherwise I'm going to get permakited. Unfortunately, she has heal, so I have to use my flash to finish her off, secure the kill. In hindsight, I should have just let Nico die, or in hindsight, she should have flashed. If either one of those things would have happened, the situation would have been a lot better. So in hindsight, I should just let her be and sacrifice her instead of myself, since I'm so much farther ahead than her. And by me dying, it loses our team a lot of pressure and a lot of options. Vi is a really good counter to slippery champions like 𝐒𝐂𝐈 or Pyke. Once you lock your ultimate on them, they just simply can't get away. Even though I should have been stunned here, I negated his stun with my ultimate. Remember, you don't have to use max charge Qs. As Rengar's getting away and speeding up, I hit him with a quick Q tap. I charge it for just like a half a second, let it go off to CC him, and we pick up another kill. After you have your warrior, your tier 2 boots, and Trinity Force, you're going to be getting a Sterix Gauge or a Maw of Mortius. If the enemies have a good mix of AP and AD, you go for Sterix. If there are 4 or 5 of them AP, then you go for the Maw. In the late game as Vi, you're going to be primarily playing around getting picks with your team and getting objectives. She's not a late game powerhouse. 30 minutes plus, she really starts to fall off, so you want to try to be ending your games before the 30-minute mark. After I get stunned, the enemies foolishly follow it up. They forget I'm still hella tanky even though I do a lot of damage. I ult onto the Ashe, one-shot her. We kill the Garen. Really easy fight for my team. This is why getting leads in the early and mid game is so important. You can make fights happen whenever you want to around objectives, or if the enemies are simply out of position. If I was behind there, I would have died and we probably would have lost several turrets off of it. Instead, we get to push for relatively free, get a turret, and pick up an easy dragon afterwards. Even if you're low on health on Vi, your passive shield makes it really easy for you to solo objectives, combined with your jungle item healing. The enemies eventually have enough and surrender. If they didn't, we could have set up an easy Baron off of the mid inhib. And that is going to wrap up this Vi jungle guide. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm with viewer engagement. And if you want to earn RP and support the channel at the same time, definitely check out Icon. It's an easy way to earn RP for free and have fun and support the channel all at the same time. I'll leave a link down in the description and pinned comment below for you guys to join up. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.